Outlaw Radio on a Monday night, live from the basement. What it do? What it do? It's your man, 50 Grand, Kevin Barnes, aka the Negro Whisperer. Welcome to the show. Man, it's good to be here. Every day above ground is a great one, as they say. You've managed to make it through another heinous weekend in the mean streets of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as they refer to them. But welcome to the show, man. This is what we do on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then on Tuesdays, I do the Big Black Sports Show. Come back on Thursdays with Outlaw Nation. Actually, have some. I've had some guests. I've recently had a bunch of guests, man, esteemed guests who came on and blessed the platform. So shout out to them. I had the sister Jazzy on last Thursday for Outlaw Nation, and I want to say her name, Yasami Hallelujah. I think that's how. I think I added one more who on it than it should have been. But I had Evan Kern last week, who was just such a big part of building the NCSL and servicing a lot of kids in the city, man. I got a guest coming this week for Outlaw Nation, so shout out to him, DJ Toxic, I think his name is. To do something with hip hop, right? Because I love hip hop. It's the soundtrack of my life. So we're gonna have do some stuff with hip hop on Thursday night, but tonight you got Outlaw Radio, which is a little bit pointed. Normally, we're going to try to talk about some socio-political issues, mixed with some other stuff, try to make you smile, try to make you laugh, and try not to make you cry, right? Shout out to Jesse Paris. He said you're in the new studio. Just back in my regular studio. Just made some refurbishments, as they say. Is that a word? Refurbishments? I don't know if I can say that. This Shay and Kruma check out Frontline Black News, man. It's Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Mr. Carter, what's popping with you, bro?
Peace, man. How everybody doing?
Man, everybody is lovely. Everybody made it through another week, man. And I said in the beginning of the show, every day above ground is a good one. So, wasn't too bad. It wasn't too violent, too bloody of a weekend. It just went because I didn't hear nothing real major about nobody getting. So maybe we did get a little breath of fresh air. Do you think it was because of Chevy's curfew?
Nah, I doubt it. I just think niggas was tired.
Okay. Right. Right. It wasn't hot, right? Like it was kind of dreary.
Whatever it was, though, you know what I mean? Hey, man, it's a blessing. You know what I mean? It's good. Whatever it was, I just hope it continued with that at that rate.
Yeah, man, no doubt. And I tell the people about the schedule, man. Tell the people about what you got popping because you got a lot shaking as usual. Tell the people about your product that you're pushing.
Oh yeah, Vitality. Right now we got 4 flavors. You may only see me selling 3, but we got 4. The 4th is blueberry pineapple. You find that at Lush Popcorn at the Sherman Phoenix. But you know what I mean? We getting this Vitality going, man. It's going good in the city. Everybody loving it. If you ain't had it, you really need to try it. You know what I mean? It's not just a good drink, but it's good for you. It's unbelievably good for you. You wouldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't many different drinks you could drink where you going to notice something happening in a few days while drinking this drink. You know what I'm saying? So It's something special. You know what I mean? This is something powerful, something I feel like that the community needs. You know what I mean? Some wellness.
And if you out there and you got something popping, man, in terms of business or some sort of event that you want to promote, just get with us, man. We can put your banners up, put your commercials up, put your videos, your logos, whatever, what have you, man. We believe in trying to support each other. We always talk about black business and intentional solidarity, man. So just get with us, man. But yeah, man, like I said, man, I had some big people. Now we got brother Jamu, don't we? Don't we? I think we got him this week, right? Because Heal the Hood is next Saturday, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so I got to check the calendar and we got to confirm because I think he's coming in Wednesday, I believe, right? Yeah, because Wednesday is the 25th.
Yep.
So yeah, man. So another big week, man, on the People's Network, man. Support. Share the show. Pick up some Vitality from my brother. I don't, like I always say, I don't expect people to listen to all 4 shows. Just listen to 2 of them, right? Like, pick your favorite days, and then I think you'll end up listening to the other 2 as well. So, but yeah, man, you know what? And it was such a breath of fresh air that we didn't have Shoot 'em Up, Bang Bang all weekend. Now, somebody out there, lost their life. I'm not trying to dismiss them, right? Blame it on my mind and not my heart. But so I just was looking at some other stuff, and I think what I had to laugh about this because I think it's kind of like a comedic irony. Too Short said he felt like Kevin Samuels sounded hateful and didn't agree with some of the things he said. Too Short said this about Kevin Samuels. Can you believe this?
Well, I mean, you know, me being me, I can, you know what I mean? Because no matter what walk of life you walk, what you, I mean, it's always going to be somebody to disagree with what you say, right?
Right.
And even though you may not have had the best views or the best perspectives your whole life, you know what I'm saying? That don't mean you're gonna get along with somebody else who come off to be rude or disrespectful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I think with Too Short, you know, it was different. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Too Short, like with his music, he was just like clown with the women. You know what I mean? Like going in with the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? With Kevin Samuels, I think it is an aspect of some healing or self reflection. You know what I'm saying? With his. With Too Short is more just fuck you, bitch, 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 and you know what I mean. Kevin Samuel ain't so much bitch, 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 bitch. Matter of fact, I never even heard him call nobody that.
Right. I I just want to quote a Too Short lyric. Motherfuck you, damn shithead bitch. He wrote this, right? And it was on one of his
Right.
songs. Like, I just feel like some people should just not say anything, man. It's one of the things where if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing, right? Like I think Too Short should have said, "I plead the fifth, man." I mean, if I just start naming off some song titles, "Blowjob Betty," "Freaky Tales," "Don't Fight the Feeling," all this stuff is. He's lucky
Right.
it was pre Me Too movement, man. But yeah, he's
Oh
entitled to
yeah,
his
man. His
opinion.
career would have been over these days. He wouldn't have made it.
Right. And he got the right to say what he wanted to say. I just thought it was, like I said, it was irony almost that here's Too Short, and he even said, "What's my
Right.
favorite word?" Like how did I get famous?
Right.
It's just the word, right? So
Hey, you know what? But really, Too Short should disagree with him because see, like I said, Too Short was all disrespect. Kevin Samuels, his angle wasn't to disrespect nobody. So they should disagree with each other, right?
yeah, I guess because you always make sense out of some shit that don't make sense to me. So I'd be like, I never thought about it like that before, man.
Really, I
Had
mean,
me
you
over here
know,
tripping.
it's just that like people make it seem like Kevin Samuels was such a horrible person the way he talked to women.
Right.
Because they ain't used to getting the truth. They ain't used to getting the hard truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, take a look at yourself. Here's a mirror.
Okay.
People ain't used to getting that and they don't like it. They feel offended. So when they see him kicking it like that, you know what I mean? Right away, people start getting offended and triggered and shit.
Yeah. I mean, once again, I think that they are both like extreme ends of the spectrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like even though a lot of the stuff Too Short talked about in his music in regards to women, for the women that he dealt with, it was partially true, right? Like
Right.
that's what the women that he dealt with, that's what they were on. That's how
Yeah,
you
it
you
was
know
that walk of life.
Right. So if he's talking about pimping and being in strip clubs and really just to deal with that type of female because there are females out there who that's how they get down, right? Like so, but with Kevin Samuels, he was attempting to, I guess, in some way speak to black women, but he was doing it from an extreme perspective. Like if I
Right.
just really just dig in your ass, not figuratively, not literally. If I
Right.
really just get in you, it's gonna have an impact on you, and it's gonna like shock you back to life, right? Like what's
Yeah.
those things they use to bring the defibrillators? I guess
I
he was.
remember I remember growing up, right? I remember my mother had a boyfriend. And I came downstairs out my room, walking through the kitchen, whatever. He was sitting there. He was like, "Damn, nigga, you stink." Hey, but you know what? The way I mean, to a lot of people, I mean, that may sound fucked up, like that you would talk to a kid like that. But you know what? It made me start washing my motherfucking ass. You know what I mean? Sometimes when people give it to you raw, you know what I'm saying, raw like that, it works.
Does it take that though? Couldn't he have just said, "Hey,
Hey,
son, you
it
might want to
might.
jump in the tub"?
It might.
I
You
guess,
know,
man.
cause look, how long have people just been saying stuff in a nice way and ain't nothing been happening?
Right. Yeah. Shock value, right? Like
Yeah,
shock jock, right?
yeah,
Once again, though, I think without Too Short putting that kind of stuff in his music, you really don't notice him lyrically or as a rapper, right? Like, there's nothing about him that would say, "Oh man, I want to put him on tour with a Tribe Called Quest" or somebody like that. You'd be like, "No, it's not even." You can't even
right.
say that either because Two Live Crew went a long way with the same kind of material. But they didn't say it. Too Short said it. That's why I thought it was funny. And even Too Short, for me, he had made some comments, I think about 2 years ago, in which he talked about his affinity for light-skinned women and like how he felt about women who were of a darker shade, right? Like it was a thing he had. He tried to come back and straighten it up, but he was saying like Oakland is this kind of place where it's mixed and it's so many different cultures and all this kind of stuff. And then
Hmm.
people got on him. He tried to come back and. But once again, he's never portrayed himself to be, even though he did sneak some social messages in his music. If you read some of it, if
He
you
did.
listen to it,
You talking about
you
Too
know,
Short, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
like
like,
on
yeah,
a lot of his B side tapes. I mean, his
hmm
B side, the side B's on his tapes. You know what I mean? Was a lot of positive.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Life is Too Short was basically a positive song.
The Ghetto is one of the
The
most socially
ghetto.
conscious songs. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean? He talking about what's going on in the community. I mean,
yeah,
shit, rappers wasn't, they don't do that no more.
yeah, man. And so, like I said, that's why I said it's irony. I just thought it was funny.
Right.
I just thought it was funny because it don't really have the whole thing with Kevin Samuels is once again it's just about it being a conversation being had, and people being up in arms about it, right? Like and everybody right now in this world we live in, you get to hear everybody's opinion instantly, right?
Hmm.
Like, because everybody got a camera, everybody got a phone. Like, you got your own studio in your pocket.
Right.
So, so you're always gonna see what somebody said, and we'll always be able to draw comparisons about this person said that, and that person said this, and all that kind of shit. I just thought it was funny. Now, I also seen some other good news. I seen that the family of the little girl, the little 12-year-old girl in Kenosha, and remember, we had talked about this story. We talked about this a couple months back, where there was a off-duty Kenosha police officer working as a resource officer in the middle school, and she got in a fight, right? Um, um, and so he went to break it up, and he put his knee on her neck. I think it's because, and I showed the video. It was in the People's News Network. And he said he blacked out. He couldn't remember it. So her family is suing because they're saying she has like a permanent brain injury of some sort. So, but I hope they get money, right? Like, and the fact that there's got to be some criminal charges behind this too, though. A
Right.
12-year-old girl.
Hey, ain't that part of the reason why they took the police out to schools and shit? Because they was getting a little rough with the kids?
It was that. It was well, if you're talking about specifically here in Milwaukee, it was
Well, it was
about
a
some
bunch of
money
shit,
too.
yeah. But I mean, that was one of the issues they was dealing with, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. You want to try to reduce that. But you know what? MPD, when they were in Milwaukee public schools, I think it may have just been one or two. So they never really had no situations where it was like they was they got Brody on a kid. I think the main thing was that it was $100,000 a year MPS was paying
Mm.
MPD that we found out about later on. Like, so you know, and a couple of resource officers actually got hurt in the MPS. But yeah, with this little girl, man, like, can you imagine having to watch on the news with a grown man, a fully grown man, with his knee on the back of this little bitty girl, 12-year-old girl's neck, man. And like, we just watched this with George Floyd. We just seen this situation play out, right? And
Hmm.
come along, and this time it's a little girl,
He knew
a
exactly
12
what
year
the
old
fuck
girl.
he was doing.
That's just how much value they give to our life, right? They don't look at us like our life is worth anything. And I'm not saying that's why I want to get into Black Lives Matter or none of that kind of foolishness. I'm saying their overall how they handle us has always been like, your life don't. it don't mean shit. Basically, that's where I guess that's where the slogan comes from. Even though we know it don't, especially now, it doesn't really represent us. That slogan got ham boned. That, or I should say that catchphrase got ham boned by. I feel like it got ham boned by the LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Is it another one plus LGBTQ plus? I think it's another one. I think when they tried to kind of mix that all up in there, it kind of ham boned what the whole movement was about, right? Because it says what it is: Black Lives Matter. Like that's it. It ain't no. You don't need to add. Well, so does this life, and so does that life. You don't need to add none of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like it got ham boned. But yeah, man, it's just I don't want people to think that this stuff doesn't still happen. Like it's not like, like you could be blinded by a bunch of different stuff. But these kinds of acts, like it's been so many police murders since George Floyd, right? And I don't even have the number. Like if somebody out there is listening and you got that number on how many actual police murders has been since George Floyd was murdered, it hasn't stopped, right? So it's like, you know, still going on, man. So it's a lot of work to do. Now we did have a sister Jazzy on the show last week, and we had a spirited debate. And shout out to Rick Muhammad because he called in and Rick was getting at her. She had to let him have it. She had to give him all 13th and Burleigh. That's what she said. That's what she said she was from. So Rick just kind of bowed out, right? I wasn't mad at him, but the conversation was about, and you tell me if I was being extreme, because I felt like the mayor's initial response to what happened downtown was weak, and I felt like it wasn't like I felt like there should have been way more to that. And she said, no, this is him trying to come up with a solution to save young people because we got to protect the babies and whatnot. So she didn't agree that that move was weak. Because I said it was weak, and I said he failed his first test as the first black mayor of Milwaukee. What you think about that?
I mean, I like to know. Well, I think I'm with most of the city. You know what I'm saying? Okay, a curfew is cool. That's something to start. You know what I mean? But we got to do more than that. Because just because you say it's a curfew ain't gonna stop nobody from going nowhere or doing nothing. You know what I mean? I mean they out committing egregious crime. So
Right.
why won't they just break that rule? You know what I'm saying? That's just a ticket. That ain't shit. So I think a lot more has to be done. You know what I mean? Um, Again, it may help a little bit. You know what I mean? But shit, man, Kev, remember we was talking about the I was talking about how, imposing stronger sentences.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And I just think like with a lot of this shit, man, this is what it's gotta be. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff that's going on in the community that everybody fed up with. Like let's make some higher penalties, you know what I mean? Some tougher penalties.
Right. Man, you will get such argument from a lot of people for that, for
Well,
saying
you're gonna
that.
get an argument from whatever, you know what I mean, whatever solution you come up with, you're gonna get an argument from a bunch of people anyway.
Yes. Yes.
But it's important for us to express what we feel like should be done.
Okay. So I just talked about the Kenosha PD officer who put his knee in the back of the 12-year-old girl's neck, or on the back of her neck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking about, and what I felt was there should have been a citywide curfew. I feel like if he was going to do it, that was the best way to do it because all these neighborhoods need to be made safer. But when you do that, you increase contact for our kids with police officers.
Right.
Now you start to potentially create situations where something's gonna happen, right? One of our children will be murdered, shot, get their ass kicked sideways. Some people say, well, that's what they get. Some people say that's what they get. If they're out there, they know not to be out there. If they're out there, they get just what they deserve. What you think about the potential for that kind of cataclysmic activity?
Well, I think that's one of the it's always gonna be some kind of pushback. Still again, you know what I mean? It's always gonna be some kind of pushback. Um, okay, we're gonna create more interaction with them, but at the same time, you know what I mean, we asking them same police to do something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everybody crying out that it's a fucking problem. And like it ain't enough for us to just say, look, y'all, the community, we gotta stop this. Y'all need to stop this shit. That ain't working.
It's
You know
not
what I
working.
mean? We can't physically go out here and grab nobody our damn self and stop them from stealing cars.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So again, it's a punishment. That's the purpose for jails. And you know what I mean? And the sad part is if people breaking the laws and doing shit like that, you know what I mean? Then they have to put themselves in the way of being arrested or police contact. And that's them. Those are decisions that they're making.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Quit fucking up. Quit doing dumb shit.
How you doing, Erica Hunt? She said, "Hi, Outlaws. What's going on, my sister? Thank you for joining us." You're right though, but now we're going back to this, the harshness of how harsh does the message need to be, right? Like, so if we talking about mandatory minimums, now we're talking about like black kids might possibly being given more jail time. Now, see, this ain't one of them crimes, because I think this is one of those crimes that's pretty much, it should be pretty easy, right? Like, so I know that the conviction rate is disproportionate for a lot of crimes: drug possession, assault, battery, robbery. Kids go in there. White kids is just technically, statistically true. White kids in Wisconsin get off more, they get exonerated more than black kids. But with this, I feel like it's just, if you was driving, it don't matter how good your lawyer is. It don't matter. Take all the economic, socioeconomic factors out of it and say, look, in the car, driving, stolely, boom, mandatory minimum. Ain't no
Yep.
talking your way out of it or nothing. Now, once again, Kamar, when we say that, people is like, man, this is the same mistake we made during the crack epidemic, right? Like, where we begged them to come in and do something about it, and then we got a little upset about their solution to it. So,
Well, I think this time going in, we know what's going to happen because of last time.
okay,
You know what I mean? So we can address it the right way. Like we say, at some point, you go back and address those laws again.
yeah, yeah, I agree, I agree. I just think we should be way more strategic, and this is why we probably almost certainly won't go further if we don't get some kind of solidarity to get together and come up with a list of what we actually want and need, right? You know what I mean? Like, because
Mm-hmm.
if everybody, I got an opinion, a bunch of renegades don't make no consensus. So, it's just like, that's why you argue about the argument. Shout out to TR Arthur. She said, "Good evening. How you doing, my sister? Welcome to the show. It's Outlaw
Peace.
Radio, live from the basement, on a Monday night. Welcome to the show, y'all. And we just chop it up, man, and just talk about what's going on. I know Tyrone Dumas, who's worked with MPS, with black kids for a very long time. I think he even ran for some public offices here a few years back. He came out and said that he wants to kind of initiate something like a martial law. I'm getting an echo, Kamar, in the background. Can you hear? Can you hear that?
I can't
Yeah,
hear it.
I'm getting an echo. Sound like I can hear myself out your, like I say, turn your device down. Um, but anyways, but the scary part about what he said to me when I seen it was that he said you put a curfew into effect in 1967, right? He referenced the riots, that happened in Milwaukee. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, no, I don't know if that's necessarily because there was actually a couple brothers who got killed for being out, or whatever after curfew. I mean, black people was getting killed. The police was killing us, shooting us down then, especially like it wasn't nothing. You know, I'm just saying, like, martial law is a little scary to me, and then like a permanent curfew, because when do you let up off of it? Do you just say for
Right.
the rest of the summer? For the rest of the summer, curfew.
Right.
Um,
Right.
you know what I mean? But that might be what we getting down to the Kevin Samuels and the Too Short again, though. It's like, now we gotta get harsh because y'all harsh.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Erica Hunt said, "I just found out that a boy at my son's school was making a gun threat. Who do I call? First of all, I call the school, alert the administration, then I call the police. All right? People say Kev snitching. Yeah." Tiarsha Arthur said Tyrone Dumas used to also
Hey,
work at the
if you
Urban
ain't
League.
ain't care, if you ain't in the streets, if you ain't in the streets living by streets code, it ain't snitching. You know what I mean? It's called taking care of your community.
Right. But if it's kids involved anyway, so for me, it's a no brainer. You're right, T.R. Arthur. He did used to work at the Urban League. But it's in that story's actually in the People's News Network as well. You can go and check that out, where he said, it's time to really he put a lot of parameters on it. I'm gonna pull it up and read it as we move along. But I just thought the fact that he referenced what was happening during the time of like a riot in which they brought the National Guard into the city. Mayor Meyer and Harold Breyer got famous off of how they handled the riots, because that was like the long hot summer, and during those times when everybody in every major city was having these kinds of riots, and Milwaukee
Mm-hmm.
put theirs down by immediately getting the National Guard in here. But that's what he said. I once again, over policing can be very bad for us. To put too much law enforcement in our community, it just kind of creates a natural tension. And then there's people who aren't criminals who end up getting victimized. I'm coming home from work, but you out after the curfew. Do I look 17? Well, you got 10 on your windows. Come on, man, let me go home.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, are you
Right.
not cooperating? Next thing you know, you got your ass face down in the street because
Right.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's the flip side of it too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They can use that against us.
yeah. So yeah, man, that's why I said we got to be careful. Like if we're gonna bring more law enforcement in, we got to figure out how to balance that out.
Right.
We got to figure out how to balance it out. So that means how do we do this? Because just to drop a whole bunch of cops, especially with what we see in America now, one of the main issues with the police is that the training obviously is subpar, because you got scary cops. I thought the training was to keep you from being scary. Right? I mean, I know it's natural that but it's just like, man, the cops seem to be the scariest people on the street.
Right.
Oh, I thought that was my taser. No,
Shit,
that
you
was your
right.
Glock, motherfucker. What you talking about? So
You
yeah,
right.
but yeah, so I'm with imposing the penalties, but also what we got to think about here is this school to prison pipeline, in which we start sending our youngsters. Now they going back up north. Now up north is still cracking on our backs, right? And we poor for the loss of them down here. So it's like, damn, man. But these kids got to learn something, man, because this shit is out of control. Drive past the MPS school now, it look like one of them goddamn Barada properties.
Yeah,
Big ass
dude.
rocks and shit all on the grass. Is wicked, man. It's crazy, man. Um, yeah, I can hear the echo too, Erica. I don't know. I think I'm getting the echo. I'm getting the echo on Kamar's end. I don't know why.
I don't know why either, man. I ain't did nothing different.
Nah, you know how this shit is. It's the internet with an N. Um, it's the internet. Let me try. I can try something. Hold on. She said, Erica Hunt said social workers are not doing their job. Time to look at the home. They're not doing their jobs to look in the home of repeat offenders. Um, that's a thing too with social workers, because most schools have they've removed social workers, or they have less now. Like you only have one who basically serves the whole school. So I don't know, man. How much? Unless you're gonna add more social workers, I guess, to do
Hmm.
to do more inspection. I don't know. If you once again, if you're gonna add more cops, you got to figure out how to add. You have to balance it out, is what I'm saying. Let me see someone's here. Oh man, let me see if I can get this. If I still got this echo on your end, Kamar. Um,
Hold on. So I'm gonna put mine on mute and see what happened.
okay. So, call in and let me know how you feel, man. The chat room is on deck. She said, it only echoes when I talk. Kamar is clear. Okay. So, obviously, it's me. It's me then, right? Right? So, it's my fault, right? So, Kamar, we're going to do what we do in reverse. I'll go out and come back in, and you just hold them down.
Okay, so to see if it worked. If you go out, it ain't gonna cut the whole show. Well, I guess it won't cut the show off. How y'all doing out there? Let me turn my things on. But yeah, you ride past the schools, man. You know what I mean? They do look like the Marauder properties. And somebody said they spent about $20,000 on all them rocks that go in front of the schools or whatever. I think that it came out cheaper if they'd have just put officers in there. You know what I'm saying? I don't see what's wrong. I don't see what's wrong with them putting officers there for say maybe an hour, maybe it probably wouldn't even take that long, a half hour during the school let out. You know what I'm saying? You figure you give them that much time. I wouldn't say that it may stop all the problems around the schools, but it would definitely deter a lot of the problems around the schools, I believe. If you put all, I was saying, Kevin, talking about how the schools look like Barada properties with the rocks and all the money they spent to put the rocks in front of the schools. They could have just put police officers there for a half hour, 45 minutes or something every day.
I agree.
I mean, if the officers is out in the streets anyway, just send them to the school for a half hour. Send them, you know what I mean? Just park a car in front of the school or some shit.
Well, didn't we said that? I thought at one point we said that wouldn't it be smart just to park a car at the school
Yeah, give them a
or
little
assign a
deterrent.
squad around? I mean, school only get out once a day, right?
Yeah,
So
that's it.
just put like you know what time school is out, right? Um, she said she said I knew it was my flip phone. This girl in this flip phone be killing. She said you already knew it was your flip phone. You have an audio problem on this show. Tiarsha Arthur is gonna get on your ass, man. Man, shout out to Tiarsha Arthur, man. You got somebody who's down with you when they be on your ass like that. Get it together, right? Get it together. Leave it alone. Yeah, I'm glad y'all let me know though. Put an officer also when school starts and during the lunch hour. Yeah, I mean, well, who's managing? Who's managing the resources? Who's okay? So how are you policing? I like to know how if you're missing reckless driving on Capitol, if you're missing it at the school, if you're missing murder over here, and you're missing robberies over here, where are you?
Right.
I don't where are you? What are you actually doing? Like I don't I'm confused by it. So it's like I don't know, man. Once again, we have to sit down as a community and figure a lot of things out. That don't mean it can't be done. But we just got to figure out a way to figure it out. I'm gonna pull up the Tyrone Dumas thing because I thought that was important. She said Erica Hunt said police should be there, but the police say they can't do anything to endanger the bystanders. Once again, I'm going back to Kamar's theory of if you pull up on the I'm gonna say this, but I'm kind of making an assumption. If you pull up on the block with the intention to do something like that and you see a police car, it would deter you. It should deter you.
Well, I mean, and see, I don't think they ain't gonna do nothing stupid. You got police cars out there. You know what I mean? They ain't finna go up on the grass and doing all that dumb shit. You know what I mean? I don't think they would.
You know what? I can't necessarily say that because I've seen footage of them actually stunting in the street, driving
Right.
around the police.
Oh, damn.
Right.
Right.
So,
Well,
right. So this is more complicated, right? Like it's so with these kinds of situations, man. Now we start talking about at what point do you start to utilize extreme measures because people are being endangered? Chantel Gwen said they used to round up kids all day. We couldn't skip school in the mall or local businesses in our neighborhood during school hours. You had to be with an adult or show some ID. Yeah, and we used to have this thing they used to run across the bottom of the screen like it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? I don't
right.
know if they still even do that, right? I don't know if they still do that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know. And then that's another thing about the curfew. Shit has been a fucking curfew. They just wasn't enforcing it.
right. Okay.
You know what I mean? I remember when I was 13 and the motherfuckers took me to the fourth precinct for a curfew. You know what I mean? Whatever happened.
Once again, we come down to it though. We can make all the laws and regulations that we want, but the people who do these things, they don't give a damn. They're not like I said. The young thugs ain't gonna be out on the street like, man, I would light this motherfucker up, but it's 10:50. I gotta be in the house in 10 minutes. That's like the kids that's gonna abide by the curfew ain't the problem.
Right.
It's just like the drivers, like who you make the lane skinnier, move the curb, and do all these kinds of extra things. Well, now you just inhibiting the path of the people who are not the offenders. So,
Wait, I think
um,
I young
but
boy.
you're right. You're right. The ones in the stolen cars are the ones that are endangering the students' lives. And see, that's where the line should like kind of come where it really should come in, like where we got to do something when it's kids involved because they driving up on the grass. You keep, and shout out to NPS for finally really being proactive about something, and taking care of it before it really blows up. Because and we talking about them potentially
Hey,
running over somebody kid.
hey, kid. Well, how about this part, man? It's the police job to stop that shit. We shouldn't even be talking about. Shouldn't even have to talk about it.
Yes, I
This is what the
totally
fuck they
agree.
get paid for.
Yeah, yeah.
Why do we have to figure out what to do?
Man, you know why? Because our community, the situation with our relationship with police in our community, we have to be involved because
Well,
you see
yeah, I
what
get
they
that.
do.
I
Yeah.
get it. I mean, that was a. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That was a question that I wasn't expecting the answer to because we know the answer. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, we shouldn't even have to be talking about this shit. This is something they should be worried about. They should be fixing. We should be seeing stuff. We should be talking about what they doing about it.
Right, right, right. I think it's a necessary thing though, because you know what? We got to sit down with them because they'll go crazy. You know
Well,
what I mean?
definitely is necessary.
They go crazy.
I'm just saying in a perfect world,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? This is an issue that the police have to deal with. This shouldn't even be nothing that we talking about in the community. Because
Hey,
they should have been on it already.
so technically, it is your job.
Right.
It is.
Technically, it's your job.
It's your job.
Fuck y'all buying rocks for?
But they have to,
You
because
buying rocks to do your job.
once again, I asked this question: how much of this represents police who have kind of stood down because of the defund the police thing, which I don't think fiscally has really even been a thing here in
They
Milwaukee.
never even did it.
Right.
Remember, everybody just talked about it. They was just chanting the shit in the marches, defund the police.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And these motherfuckers running around here acting like they actually did it.
I think in Minneapolis they actually did vote on it and pass it through. I think, and so I was doing some reading, and there were some people saying that was the situation up there. But here it didn't. It hasn't really physically happened. Like I said, the cops resigned and retired. They moved
Hey,
on.
hey, ain't that crazy though? Like cops retired versus fixing themselves and treating people better. They
Yeah,
would rather retire than to treat people better.
yeah. It's a hard job, so they be
Man,
like,
fuck the police.
you ain't finna compromise me. This is a tough job. Um,
You know what I'm saying? Man, fuck the police, man.
Erica Hunt said this remind me of the war on drugs. The police sit by and watch the crime rise till a police officer get killed by a reckless driver. You remember a couple years back there was a high speed, and the young officer was trying to get in high pursuit and flipped the car and ran up, turned over the car and hit the bridge over there on 76 in Silver Spring
Yeah,
and died. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's already Milwaukee. I'm telling you, Milwaukee's like a big ass action movie. Fucking explosions, car chases, shootouts. This shit is like a summer blockbuster or something. We just
Damn,
need
bad boys for life.
right. We just need Martin and them to show up. TR Arthur says start finding the parents. I bet you a lot of this would stop right now.
Maybe.
The excuse is the parents are at work. Fuck that. They still should know where their kids are. You know what? Yeah. Yeah. I agree because if you at work and your kid is just out and about doing all kinds of foolishness all night, you got a big issue. You got a big problem because that means now I can't manage my child. Like, cause I'm at work. You know better than this, but so yeah, you got an issue, and that is the case with a lot of parents because once again, this is a place where being part of the working poor is a thing, right? Like you working two jobs and you still can't stay afloat. You barely, and so
And that's
people are
that's
working.
part of the issue too, man. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
shit, parents gotta work like a motherfucker. Some parents working three jobs, two, three jobs to take care of their family.
yeah, they hustling.
You know what I mean? And so it's hard, man. And they teach. I know people. Most people teach their kids the right way, but sometimes, you know what I'm saying. The kids don't always do what we expect them to do when we ain't around.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But some got to be done, right? Some got to
Right.
be done. She said, this is Erica Hunt in the chat room. She said, "Do you remember the slow speed chase on Capitol Drive like 4 years ago? The police followed him until he ran out of gas." No, I don't remember that one, but you know what? It sounds familiar, but I can't, I can't really frame it. But that sounds like, he must have drove a long way. Like he had to drive damn near to Pewaukee, right? Like shit,
Man,
right?
in
So,
circles
man,
or something.
what the heck, man? What's going on with that? But yeah, man. I mean, we got a lot of things that we need to really look for solutions here in the city, and that's why I asked you that because when I was talking about the mayor and I was saying I felt like that response was weak and whatnot, I thought about it like, but you know what? It's some people who feel like he did exactly what he should have done. They felt like that was a step in the right direction. What I couldn't believe was that they didn't understand how short-sighted it was. Like
I think a lot of people was just happy to see something.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you know how they throw you a bone? They throw us a bone.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
And then you got some people to be like, oh yeah, see, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
You know what? I
He
would have
ain't even did shit. He just uh talked about a curfew that's been going on since we was kids.
I wouldn't have been critical if he'd have just had it for the whole city. I just felt like it was to protect downtown, right?
Right,
And like, because once again, you got to understand who's living downtown at this point. You got to
right.
understand that these gentrifiers are knocking at the door downtown, and that's what you're building up. So I'm like, what they call it, the overplay for the underlay. I never known what
Mhm.
that meant, by the way. What does that mean? The overplay for the underlay. What do that mean?
Okay, that means I'm gonna tell you this, so you don't see that what I'm really trying to get through to you. So you know what I mean? I'm gonna do this for you so you can't see my intent.
The funny part is like earlier when I asked you a question, you said I really wasn't looking for no answer. I was just kidding. I know what
That was it.
I know what it means, right?
Hey, sometimes you hear a question, man, and you just gotta answer it, right?
Oh, let me let this dude know what he's saying, right? She said, Erica Hunt says she watched it go in circles from 35th and Cap to 40th. Yeah, you know what? I hope God bless whoever that dude was. I hope he getting an SSI check. You go on a high speed chase and you low on gas.
What a dumbass.
I would take off, man. Depending on how the gas.
What a
Oh
dumbass.
man. Tiarsha Arthur says the same thing just happened last week. They chased behind the dude from Capitol to the Meadows, and it was super slow because the dude was driving on his rims. Yeah, I could see some. Yeah, I could see that. And sometimes it's better to corral it. Like I guess that could be, instead of just jumping behind him, and he take off, and now it's just a free for all.
Right.
It can that's some strategies. I just feel like Milwaukee is not that big. So when somebody's like running from the police, I feel like you could just make a call and like just block off intersections.
Damn near, yeah.
Right? I mean, like it's
It
not like
ain't big at all.
this ain't Los Angeles, right? Like it's like I got a runner on Capitol. Hey, where you at on Capitol? Right now I'm on 27th. Okay, let's block off 35th. Let's block off Sherman. Oh, he turned. Okay, let's block off Hopkins. Like I feel like you could just set up perimeters in the general area, and then like you say, you slow chase him
Well,
because
you
he.
know that's what they used to do, right? Ain't that how they used to do it? Like they use the radio, you know what I mean, and corral you.
Right, right. It's just like, man, where you going, bro? Just stop already. Like, not because rarely do dudes run through like roadblocks and shit. They usually try to dip off and swerve and do all this kind of shit.
Right.
But
Motherfucker done robbed the bank or something.
I think you get it with between the COVID money and the Recovery Act, which I'm talking about what Milwaukee's talking about doing with the COVID money. The other part of the what was it, what $179 million that was awarded for the Recovery Act from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Don't let the right hand know what the left hand was doing." Right? Yeah, I was joking, Chantel. I knew it, but yeah, that's a good way to explain it. You know, it's a sleight of hand, as they might say. She said they blocked the intersection for peaceful protesters, though. Yeah, ain't it funny how they can direct a peaceful protest just all the way to where they wanted to go, and then be like, "All right, everybody, go home now. That's enough. That's enough." You know what I mean? They can do that, but with a high speed chase, it's like we don't know what's going on. We can't get him to stop. Like it's funny, man. It's funny. Like, But once again, I think you could take some of this COVID recovery money and just purchase some specialized police cars for a special task force. Your job is to stay near intersections and main streets all day long and block off the streets. There's
That's it.
technology that you can buy,
That's it.
right?
Yeah.
But they talk about assisting some suburbs with building affordable housing. Now, hold on. So we don't want you downtown because if you shoot up down there, those precious people down there get hurt. And at the same time, I'm setting up with my local suburbs to say, hey, let me build an affordable housing complex over here. That sounds like some people about to be moved around, don't it?
Yeah.
So call in, let me know if you know better. And they talking about using incremental tax funds, which is basically the same way that they went about getting the train tax incremental funds, I should say. And so yeah, I just I look at what's going on in Milwaukee and I say there's got to be better ideas than the ones we're using. Like because like I say, it's not like you live in Chicago when somebody's running. He's running down Burleigh. Okay, because the cops is usually somewhere over there anyways, right? Like it's like okay, what. So, but they say Kevin, the city's bigger than that. Be spread out all over the South Side. I get that, but you also have about damn near $1 billion budget too. So it's just the conversations that need to be had. Crystal Ship, shout out to Crystal Ship. She said this Saturday stop by to Heal the Hood, the 10th year anniversary. I surely wish I could get there on Saturday. I'm not gonna be able to come out. Are you gonna slide through there
I'm
with
gonna
you?
be out of town.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I got to see if my son has a game because I might be out of town too. If
I
he got,
got a I got a 1 year anniversary popping off this weekend, man.
uh-oh, uh-oh,
Yeah, man. I got a 1 year anniversary, a couple 1 year anniversaries actually.
uh-oh, slip on your red dress.
Hey, look, hey, I done had a girlfriend for a year,
Lord have mercy.
and Vitality been popping for a year.
You got two girlfriends then.
Man, you know what I'm talking about? My life is
You're taken,
full.
right? Control C in the building. Yes, yes. Shout out to Control C, Tyson Gassy, and Crystal Ship. She said, take that money and rebuild the vacant houses. There's a lot of different things that can be done with this COVID recovery money. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we ain't, I would feel good. Okay, this is what I say when I say your silence makes me think that it makes me think you down with the shit, right? So when I say you complicit, because if somebody downtown just came with an idea, one of our supposed leaders, or if I knew about it. So if you hear me, if you've heard some of this and you say, I know, Kev, they did, let me know. If they just came up with a brilliant idea, like let's take that money and build this in the community or that, or like I said, let's give not give the money to the police, but the city say, okay,
Right.
this we're gonna purchase the equipment and donate the equipment to you. Not we gonna give it to you just Scott. We gonna donate it to you for you to do this. Man, I'm just saying, like with the when I'm saying with the equipment to block off the streets because you have cameras in all the lights now. I don't know if people have noticed. It's cameras all over in the street lights and the intersections and all of that now. So, and you telling me you can't block off an intersection to stop a high speed chase? This shit's not adding up for me. It's not adding up for me. Um, um, she said, don't get a police nothing. Housing has been bad way before COVID. Not once again, I think we do as a city. Okay, so then where does it come from? All right, y'all let me know then, because I think as a city, that COVID money is money that is our money. So I'm saying the city should own the equipment, right? Like, I mean, you built the train, so why not just come up buy a couple trucks and put them? We buy 7 of them and just keep them strategically located. That's what they do all day. What is that? That's the roadblock truck. He sit there all day waiting on these fools to come through here on a high speed. He just pulls slightly across the street and put the barricade up because they got that technology where they can put a barricade up quick, fast. I'm not saying put the spike strips down because they did that. They tried to do that, and then we seen that one horrific accident on. I think it was Burlap, man. I said, boy, that boy just killed himself. But yeah, man. So yeah, they got enough money, man. So, but I still think the city got to step up and say, you know what, we gonna take care of it. Or once again, I said I'd like to hear the idea, and even if it didn't go through, I'd be like, man, whoever so and so is who came up with that, that's the kind of leadership I'm talking about. People are homeless and hungry. Um, this is Chantel Gwen. She said people are homeless and hungry. That's the start. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The homeless and I keep looking at the homeless population though, and I say how many of them are really just people who are mentally ill, who are not being treated, right? Who's just out here just living. I know they closed down Watertown Plank Road and a lot of the facilities. So, T.R. Arthur says whatever happened to Mike McGee's plan last year or the year before, him and his friends was in pickup trucks and cars up and down Capitol and was getting the cars to slow down. I don't know. Shout out to Mike McGee Jr. I don't know, man. He's on Facebook. Hit him up and ask him what happened, brother. Because they probably shot him down downtown. Like, oh no, yeah,
Right. They probably made him stop the shit.
right. Or the police, like, you can't be out here, buddy. You can't be out here. But the solution to housing is holding landlords accountable. That's what Erica Hunt said. Whoa, now we getting into ooh wee. Now we getting into some slum lords, and but see, that's also about who really owns where you live. And I think that a lot of people live in these communities and they don't own where they live, so they don't take a certain kind of pride in it. And that's why it's like anything goes. I feel like if people were really paying mortgages for where they lived and owning their homes, they would be a little bit more inclined to be a more of a positive part of the community. People feel like, fuck this. This ain't my house anyways. Fuck this landlord. Most people think that they landlord is getting rich off of them.
Yeah.
I was a landlord, and my tenants felt like that I like they was paying for my lifestyle, and I was actually working two jobs at the same time. So I used to be like, I don't know what y'all tripping about. I'm barely because I was barely breaking even at to a point, because you got to pay property taxes, you got to pay insurance, you got to pay water, stuff like that. So yeah, it wasn't like I was making a mint, really.
Mhm.
So people get that twisted. So that makes people be like, fuck this. I don't care about this property. Throw that shit in the yard. Or we gonna move in here and sell as much crack as we can and then move in 60 months. I mean 6 months. Um, so Milwaukee is, once again, it's one of those conversations that needs to be had, man. And I'm open to it. I'll give my opinion on something, but I understand. I'm not the only circus in town, so I'm always open to other people's perspectives, man. I believe in intentional solidarity. Like, it's okay for us to disagree. Let's just respect each other and keep it pushing, right? Like, you ain't if that ain't what you do, you don't like that, then you ain't got to be all fuck you, nigga. Just move. Just move around.
Right.
Now, did you see the Juneteenth Day ice cream?
Oh man, that bullshit.
Now wait a minute now. Wait, now y'all gotta tell me, because before I fuck around going to the store and buy, because it sounds like it's good. Red velvet cake, ice cream, it's all kinds of treats in there. What's up with that, man? Y'all against the
Well,
Juneteenth?
I feel like that's one of them things where they want to capitalize off of our
Okay,
consumer
okay,
our consumer power. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of black people, they see, ooh, Juneteenth ice cream, let's get some.
oh, right.
It's Juneteenth, let's get some Juneteenth ice cream. You know what I mean? Black people good for that, man. I love my people, but we good for that.
Well, now this ice cream is gonna sell, right? Like, cause I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah, it's finna sell. Like Popeye's chicken, nigga.
people gonna be having barbecues and birthday parties for their kids, and gonna be like, man, we finna get some of this Juneteenth Day ice cream.
Nigga, that shit
Um,
finna sell like Popeye's chicken.
But Juneteenth Day is a national holiday now, though. Like, I think, like, so uh, people got to know that. So it's gonna be some clothing.
Well, yeah, yeah, you right. You right. I ain't think of that either. But I hope we take charge and capitalize off of it.
Yeah, I think it's already out of our hands.
Like when we see black people selling Juneteenth stuff, we need to buy their stuff.
Well, you was rocking with the people with the sister who made the ice cream and stuff like that. So I've said that to say, how come some of us haven't come up with this? Liberation flavored ice cream or something like that. Like, maybe we should be more creative instead of being sensitive.
Right.
I don't know.
Capitalize off our own culture.
Right. Instead of, because now we sitting around mad like, don't buy that shit. because you know somebody,
Right.
you know somebody's gonna buy it, right? Like you know you gonna see some people, they gonna be like, man, fuck what dude talking about, man, this shit good.
Nigga, this shit good.
Now we got a whole other issue in the community. Somebody, yeah, and yeah, I'm eating some Juneteenth Day ice cream, and what, motherfucker? Right, you know. But the black people, now, okay. So now here's the thing. Some of the where I'm thinking about with that is you are gonna, if you eat ice cream, right, and you go in the store and you buy ice cream, it's the summertime, you're gonna buy some ice cream anyways. And unless you buying black owned ice cream, wouldn't it make sense to buy the Juneteenth ice cream since you it's all this,
But is
none of
it
them are
black
black
owned?
owned,
I don't
right?
think it's black owned. That's Walmart brand ice, great value.
Yeah, but I'm saying, well, who is the black ice cream company?
Well, I mean, at this point, I don't know, but I wouldn't try. I ain't finna feed into they shit.
Great value, yeah. Celebration edition. It says swirl red velvet and cheesecake flavored ice cream. I'm sorry, that just sounds good to me. I'm like, especially a hot day you buzzed. I'm telling you, man, taking the edge off the meal with it. I don't know. Uh, y'all tell me what y'all think about the Juneteenth Day ice cream. Erica Hunt said, when you have community advocates and centers telling you to do a complete background check on landlords, you know we got a big problem with the slumlord. No doubt, I definitely would. And word of mouth is effective. Sometimes when you go look at the crib, you know you might want to talk to the neighbors who live next door. You know what I mean? So yeah, she said, I hate they capitalizing. She said it do it, I think she meant it do sound good. It sounds good. I'm not going jack, man. That ice cream sound tasty. TR Arthur says, everywhere I rented, my father and his friends was keeping my yard clean and the neighbors' houses up and down the street. His theory was, what sense do it make for your yard to be clean and your neighbors have garbage in their yards blow right back into yours? Him and his friends retired from A.L. Smith and was looking for things to do. Yeah, they don't make brothers like that no more though. That was a different kind, like, cause them brothers fought and struggled and came out the South, and really once they got their peace, they was like, you know what, I'm taking care of my business. I'm gonna make sure I pay for my house, I raise my kids, most of them, or all three set to my kids by all three of my women. But they took care of their business, man. They was very community oriented. As a matter of fact, the I told you I grew up on 17th and Capitol in the Rufus King neighborhood. The men in the community used to do neighborhood watch. They walked in the alleys at night, right? All these old dudes too, but they got that damn 38 on his hip or something like that. But they walking in the alley like, we gonna make sure the crime in our shit ain't that bad. So yeah, man, I wish we could get that sense of community back. That's what Milwaukee is missing, man. Those, and for those brothers to be able to have an opportunity. So if brothers here now could get opportunities in which they could say, you know what, I'm gonna buy a house, I'm gonna raise my family, and then you got your garage full of all your shit for your yard, and what happens, right? Motherfucker come along and break in your shit, right? Like, just like, and then we'd be like, I'm moving. Why you moving? They keep breaking in my damn garage, right? So yeah, man, it's sometimes it's a win. It's not a win-win situation, man. That's why I say, man, we have to have these conversations and have to be able to have them cordially because they get heated, man. People get
Mm-hmm.
upset, man. People go to really getting at each other, man. Next thing you know, it's somebody standing outside waiting on you. When you come up out the meeting, right? You see some old dudes out there, some old people out there scrapping like a motherfucker. I'm trying to find the Tyrone Dumas thing. So y'all be patient with me. And I did hear this too. Now, y'all, this is another thing. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this. And I think this is funny. Now they're telling woke black activists, right? Woke black activists to stop utilizing the terminology white privilege because they said it's off-putting for white people, right? Like, this is, once again, this is like getting down to critical race theory, and we saying we don't want to teach critical race theory because it makes white people feel guilty. Um, um, so now that's what I just said. That's what I just said about the whole Black Lives Matter movement being hijacked because you there for the liberation and empowerment of black people. And now you got a whole bunch of other shit there. That's like, well, what about Filipinos?
Oh, what about transgender, non-binary? Uh, how many different ways do they define their sexuality now? And make it go right along with race.
Man, look, we don't even know what to say no more.
Right, right. So, what do you think about this, though? Are
Well,
you
like how you gonna tell us how to deal with racism? You know what I'm saying? How you gonna tell us how to teach our perspective of racism to our kids, to our people? How you gonna tell us how to do it? You know what I'm saying? They ain't got no right to tell us how to heal or how to deal or how to learn off of this shit. That's how I feel about it. Can't tell like no, you can't nobody tell me nothing about um what our people came through if you ain't one of our people.
well?
You can't tell me how to teach it
This is
or
their
what to
this
teach.
is one of their favorite terms, though, Kamar.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And that part too.
Do you know how many white people I hear on a daily basis say, I realize my privilege." That's why I always say it feel kind of funny when they say it. It's almost like they kind of laugh, like kind of making fun of you. Like, yeah, you're right, nigger. Yeah, you're right. Fuck you. It's been fuck you my whole life. But yeah,
Pretty much.
it's been pretty tough on you niggers. We admit it. We admit it, right? Like I'm. Erica Hunt said, "What happened to them type of men?" I think she's referencing what I was saying about them brothers, them older brothers. But you know what? It's a lot of us still in the community, though. It's a lot of us who gonna live in that community and take a lot of ownership and a lot of responsibility for what's going on in the neighborhood. But I will say this though, we've said this a million times. Black people, by and large, are the greatest people in the world to be around. Like most black people are the shit. Most black people are they're giving, they're social, they like to eat, they like to dance, do whatever it is that we like to celebrate. We like to chill, man. Turn that music up, man. Like that
Yeah.
grill. That's how most of us are. Sitting around playing dominoes and spades and whatever, darts and shit. But there's a small element in our community that is just anti that. And it's not so the stereotype is that it's all of us. And I think it's the same way when it comes to men, like brothers like us. Like you think we're all out here just on some off the wall shit when you be surprised a lot of brothers mind their own business in the neighborhood because he don't want no bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be the best way to navigate it. Like, man, I mind my business, man. You want to go over there next door and say, hey, sis, I see your boys out here. I like to take. Well, what you talking about? You don't know them. You ain't their daddy. Well, he must be a pedophile. And you got to be on point for that too, though. But it's a quick Google search,
I
right?
think I think it's just the times change too. You know what I mean? Like you deal with the circumstances. So we have to act accordingly. You know what I mean? It's a different time than it was back then.
Right.
Like they're a little more defensive now. The youth is a little more defensive than they were when we were young. We was more accepting, or we had more of a ear to the older. You know what I mean? To the old OGs and shit. Um, it's just different now. Like we have to learn how to approach them now again, all over again. You know what I'm saying? We have to relearn that. I tell everybody like you can get to the bottom of a problem or you can discuss any issue with somebody, but your presentation is everything.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I feel like we have to learn a better presentation to get through to them.
I agree. Now I have this Tyrone Dumas article because it was in the People's News Network. I'll reshare it when I'm done reading it. And it's really Tiarsha Arthur was right. She said look on the TMJ4 website. This one is from WISN, I'm sorry, channel 12. So he said okay. He said he doesn't want to surrender our city to evil. He said he doesn't want to surrender our city to the small percentage of people who think they run the city. That kind of echoes what we just said, right? He
Mm-hmm.
said there are people who are willing to kill, steal, create mayhem, and drive crazy, and have all the rest of us be afraid of them. We talked about that too. Now, Kamar. Now I'm starting to feel what this brother's saying. Because remember, I said maybe we got to figure out a way to fight fire with fire and show people that look, no, we are the majority. Y'all need to be. We gonna regulate this shit. So I said that. Said they're extreme. Now here's where he kind of lost me at, because he sent this email that he sent to, I guess, to downtown. Said, "Dear Milwaukee leadership, in 1967 a curfew was imposed during the riots to get control of the streets. We need similar strategies for the summer and spring of 2022. I think you should impose a martial law curfew." He said curfew for Memorial Day to Labor Day. It should be in effect from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. on weekdays and from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. on weekends. People 18 and older going to school, work, or church will be allowed on the streets, as would law enforcement officers. We've got 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds who are out after 1 o'clock in the morning, Dumas said, and you know they're not out to play basketball. He said he wants anybody under the age of 18 who breaks the curfew to be held at a juvenile facility overnight and not to be sent back home. Said you sending them back home to people who let them do what they want to do anyways.
Yeah, you send them back home and they go right back outside.
Right. If you want to come in this life, let me show you what this life is going to give you. So that's what he said. The lesson would be learned by the kids. So far, the shock value of what he said is kind of going away for me. I just didn't like the whole 1967 during the riots thing. I think that kind of jumped out at me. He said, similar to the concept of sobriety checkpoints, he wants Milwaukee police to conduct what he calls security stop points, randomly checking cars for illegal guns and drugs. Yet in Wisconsin, sobriety checkpoints are not allowed. He's asking that the hours of liquor and gun stores be limited. Okay, now this is where we slow down, Smokey. This is where we got slow down. Listen.
Come on, kid.
Hold on now. You're talking about
You're going too far now, goddammit.
Right. Well, you're talking about stop and frisk, right? Now you're talking about stop and frisk. Now you're talking about a police, law enforcement in a country where law enforcement has shown, because already in Milwaukee has been documented to have a problem with how many black people they actually stop and pull over and get at versus how many white people they do. They've already been charged with this federally by the feds, who said, "No, man, y'all shit's lopsided. You go at black people way more." So I don't agree with that random checkpoint shit, because that just to me, that is just too subjective, right? It's just too much. It's too much on the eyes of an officer who I really can't trust. Because as a black man, I can't trust you.
Right.
And I don't know what's gonna set you off late at night if I'm coming home from work, or I'm grown. I should be able to go where I want to go. So I shouldn't be subject to no random shit. But that random shit is bullshit. No, you gotta be specific and police and do what you gotta do.
They had that, didn't they do some shit? Didn't Hillary Clinton start some shit a long time ago in New York like that? The stop and frisk, or
that's what I said. Stop and frisk.
The police just pull up on you and they could just search you and shit. Yeah, that's some bullshit.
Right. And so now once again I agree with him. I the first part I agree with. Now you're talking about the hours of liquor stores and gun stores to be limited. Liquor stores already close at 9 o'clock, right? Now you can't. Okay, so you're gonna tell me because of
hold on one cotton picking minute.
God damn it! Hold on now. Enough is enough, buddy. You leave those goddamn liquor stores alone. No, my point is this. We talking about something that kids are doing. Now you're talking about taking the rights of grown-ups away. So saying, "Oh, well, I'm gonna close the gun store and I'm gonna close the liquor store." The gun store and the liquor store, you got to separate them two, anyways, because gun stores don't stay open like that. You don't find a gun store open till 10 o'clock at night unless it's like a Cabela's or something like that, or you ain't just walking into no mom and pop gun store at 10:30 at night buying no gun. So you can take that off, right? But with the liquor store, because the liquor stores in Milwaukee, I believe, used to close at like 1 or like 12 or something like that. When we did this curfew thing back in 91, 92, when we broke the homicide record all those years in a row. So I'm just, let's not go too far. Let's not get random. And, when you say martial law, now I see he means it exactly like how he says it. I don't want martial law. Because it's gonna be a catastrophe. You just increased police contact with black people by 10, and I'm guaranteeing you it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be kids. It's some because you know what these little boys gonna do. They're gonna take off running. Here come the police.
Yeah.
Police jump out. I got a job to do, buddy, and he gonna shoot the damn kid and get away with it. Now we back to square one with another riot and the city on fire again, right? So we back to square one. So yeah, let's nix that last part of it. He said he ain't got no response from none of the leaders he sent it to. And he actually Milwaukee Alderwoman Shantia Lewis said she received it. And she read it. But she people are uneasy about what's about to happen in the summer. Now she did say, she said, look, martial law curfews don't work. People will still be out. Holding juveniles overnight in detention centers can't work, she said. It's not an option because they already full. Right. So what will work? She said, I think we need to step back instead of attacking the fruit of the issue. We need to really dig into the root of the issue. She said young people need to be shown another way. You need to give them something to look forward to because they've been operating by this mantra that you only live once. So if they don't get what they think, they don't think they're gonna live past 16, 18, something like that. Your boy Mayor Johnson received it too. He said he appreciated anybody trying to present solutions, but he want public safety that's collaborative. He said it's just not something that's simple. It's not that simple. You're right. So, once again, it was an idea, man. How extreme do we get to regulate the kids? What the mandatory minimums, curfews. I think it got to be a mixture of everything. Like, I think it has to be a mixture of everything, but I do follow you, Kamar, when saying I think we most definitely need to hold police more accountable.
Yeah, we shouldn't be arguing with each other over this shit, man. This should be something they should be addressing already.
Yeah, I'd like to know
what perfect world, I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'd like to know what they are doing.
Right.
Maybe, I wish I could get a member of our maybe MPD or somebody on here to talk about that. I'd like to know what are your plans, because the summer is like right around the corner, right? So this shit's about to get wicked. So, like, what are your plans? What are you doing? Don't let.
I could probably get one, man. A few officers over there be buying my tea at the Sherman Phoenix. I'm gonna holler at them, man, and see if I could get one of them on the show, man. And possibly talk about some of this stuff.
Tiarsha Arthur said, I got the article with Tyrone Dumas, Tiarsha. I got it. That's what I was reading from. Erica Hunt said they're not going in the gun store to get their firearms, and they're not getting a Henny from the store. And people coming up with solutions act like they never lived in the hood. There we go. Let me put that back up there. Because, and that's what I said about, we know in the summer that 15, 16, 17, they outside, right? Because a lot of them is we don't sit on the porch. Drive through the hood in the summer. Listen, I used to work second shift in the summer. And I would just, drive. It'd be a nice summer day, and I drive through the hood. I get off about 11, 12, or, whatever. Get up, maybe I'd work a little bit later. And when I would come through the hood, it was like it was daytime. The kids, I'm like, these, but they're not going in the house in the summer. So now we're going to talk about, we got to chase them down. Now you're going to add charge. Oh, you ran. Is that fleeing? Like, it's like, once you start just you add more layers of law enforcement, we start seeing black people be affected by it in more negative ways, right? Like, it's just never been our friend. So that's why I say we're so instrumental in the conversation as people. Like, we got to get out there in our communities and say, nah, you know what? This is what we want. This is what we want to do. We want to be included in it. So even the conversation about the mandatory minimums, the people should be included in it in order to say, look, now, in the future, if this is not an issue no more, or we start to notice this goes away, we don't want young kids being in prison for life. Give him his minimum and let him come home. But that can be risky too, because kids can get in there and reoffend. And then once you hang that F on them, now you got the F. It's hard to get a job. This shit get complicated.
Yeah.
This shit get complicated. There are more kids who want a peaceful summer than they know. Way more. Way more. Once again, it's a small portion of our population. It's not all like I wouldn't even say it's half of us. I would probably put it right now with the way things are, though, I might put it at about 25% of us, though, a quarter of us are just on some just raw because the poverty rate is so high. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
so and it might be a little bit higher than that. Maybe might even be 30. The way it's going, because I listen, when I see certain things happening and I look at the people and I'm watching on the internet, as they call it, and I'm seeing people,
Nigga neck.
I see a large portion of us just kicking it. Like we look at that like, man, it was cracking. I was downtown, man. They was fighting everywhere. That shit was going down, man. No, that's not like we. That's what I'm saying, man. For somehow we developed an affinity for dysfunction. Like shit when shit is wild, we say that shit was lit. That shit was cracking, man. It was turned up, man. We got to get away from that. So yeah, we do got to figure out how to deal with that part of the population. Now, I also seen something else that said I seen a story about the Buffalo shooter, and they took this dude alive, right? From what I hear, they actually talked him into putting his weapon down. Um, what you think about that?
I don't know, man. I mean, like, I don't know what to think because I don't know if it's true.
No, it's true. They took him
Well, I
alive.
mean, I mean, how do we know they talked him into putting his gun down? You know what I mean? They may have ran up on him and he had his gun laid down somewhere and he's stretched out on the floor already. You know what I'm saying? But to make us feel like they did their job, I told you, I always feel like they throwing us a bone, man.
Okay, okay,
They've
okay.
been they've been too fucked up with us for too long. I'm traumatized now. You know what I'm saying?
You're jaded. You're
Yeah, I'm
jaded.
traumatized.
Um, um, but the fact that he came out alive, period, though, in a situation where he had gunned down
It's dope.
11 people, and
Well, it
we
ain't dope, but you know what I'm saying.
and we found out that he had the names of some of the elderly women who were murdered. Was it at Waukesha during the holidays? Um, and Lisa Mueller said if it was one of us, once again, if you get that report of a black man gunning people down, he's probably not gonna come up out of there. Now, some people say the subway shooter was black and they took him alive, right? This is different for me. This is different for me because he was shooting down elderly black people. And I know if he would have been black, we know that the outcome would have been different. One of them cops would have been like, I thought it was my flashlight. I thought I was reaching for my taser. It just happened to be a AR-15 with an infrared beam on it.
Right. No,
Accidentally
they
shot him
do
5 times. It's that double standard again, man. It's that's where she said they shooting, at least Erica Hunt said they're shooting first and asking questions later if you black. Yeah, it's always because they're scared. There's so much fear in an officer's heart when he sees a black man. His heart just goes to just palpitating. He's losing it. I can't. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? Look at the size of this nigger. Like, and I fear for my life, even if the dude was running away. Right? Like, so keep in mind, people are being shot. This how crazy it is. Most of the individuals who've been shot, especially in the back by police officers, it wasn't even something like they murdered somebody or they was sticking up a store or something like that. It's just he was running away and I told him to stop. Right? Like it's like with a black dude, it's cool. I told that nigga to stop. And then people say, why don't you just comply? When you see white dudes with a knife just walking
man.
towards the police, butt naked, ranting and raving, swinging the knife, and they still talk him down. I seen a crazy white dude, naked with a knife, swinging it around, and the cops was running from him.
Yeah, I saw something like that
Seen
too.
that
That
before? You
might have
seen
been
that
the same
before?
lady.
Yeah, like they're running from him. Like I'm like, dude, come on, man. Shout out
Backing
to
up
Kobe
off
Lloyd.
of him and shit.
Yeah, shout out to Kobe Lloyd. The nature of the threat, he said. Um, Erica Hunt said they was living while black. It seems well, we know this double standard is in effect mode, as they say. So once again, we all these different these give us reasons not to these things give us reasons not to trust law enforcement. This is why it's so hard for when they say, well, the community needs to get involved. Like, well, they got this boy out now. This Wisconsin's most wanted. I seen that they got this story about he been in there for murder and shooting and all this kind of stuff, and he been paying cash bond, just getting out. He's just getting out. They just like it's like hot what? So I know people say, well, that ain't got nothing to do with the cops. He black. No, I'm just saying we as a people can't. Because imagine if you said I testify against that dude, or I'd be the witness. I go in court and say he did, it, and this dude done got out. You don't even know it. Your ass coming out the corner store, right? Like you don't even know it. You don't know. Oh shit, what he doing here? Um, so yeah, man, it's we gotta be real smart with our solutions. There are videos of a white man. Right. There's videos of a white man attacking police, but they never touched the gun. And they don't mistake their taser for it either, mysteriously, which what happens a lot of
Right.
times with black when they dealing with a black person. Um, but I don't like to be with this us against them shit because to be honest with you, they actually should be working for us. Because you're there to protect the innocent, right? Like I thought you was there, and police aren't there to have court on the street. They're just there to, okay, you committed a crime. I'm taking you to jail.
Right.
I don't know if you're guilty. I don't know.
That's
Um,
all. That's all it is.
it's supposed to be, but it turns
Right.
into some other shit when it's a black person involved. And then as soon as they shoot him, they got to go and say, well, the motherfucker stole a pack of M&Ms when he was 12.
Right.
So yeah, he was a bad person, anyways. I want to find now. I'm going through the People's News Network. I don't know. Did you see Jamal Bryant? Do you know who Jamal Bryant is?
No, the name sounds familiar. I might have came across the name before. Who is
Jamal
it?
Bryant is a pastor. He's one of those big time pastors. He's a preacher, like been on television, had his ministry on. He's big time, right?
Okay.
But he had jumped out the window because he got a little carried away in his little thing. He was going in on Kevin Samuels too, talking about y'all gonna let a man call you no value who ended up getting a GoFundMe for his funeral. And people just went in on him. Like, dude, you super petty. You supposed to be a man of the cloth, and you up there criticizing.
Well, men of the cloth ain't required to do self work,
Right,
right?
right.
So you know what I mean. I can understand one saying something like that. They don't, you know what I mean. They don't always think first. So the shit when you do self work, stuff come natural, right?
Okay.
Being a good person just comes natural. You don't. I mean, the self work. You correct your thoughts. You start thinking better. You know what I mean. You don't think to say dumb shit like that. Because you done did this work on yourself. Like you do self work, you less likely to say something stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think if you want to see, but if you really want to see some funny footage with him, go back to when they were rioting in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And he went into the hood. They ran his ass up out of there, man. Um,
Yeah,
Peace out, Erica. Be well, my sister. She said I enjoyed chatting with the Outlaws. Until next time. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
Peace. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all share the show, man. Y'all can still call in too. 262-202-5131. But yeah, he went into I guess these people in Baltimore have been like the community activists have been trying to get him to come in because he had like a large church. So I guess they were trying to get him to come in and speak and do something like that. And he didn't come. He didn't show up. So when the cameras came, when they started rioting, he was there and he was all, he had his camera crew with him. He was walking around like, we got to get off the street and get the people to. And man, it was this, I forget what this brother's name was. He was like a real boots on the ground, real aggressive type militant activist, hood type cat. And man, he went in on this boy, man. I mean, I'm talking about he went in on Jamal. He went in on Jamal Bryant so bad that Bryant was sitting there like, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes. I said, what? You a whole grown man. And then when he got done talking to him, he was like, and now you get your ass up out of here. And man, this dude went to hitting it. Like he didn't even look back.
Straight up.
He left his camera people because I said, well, who's filming this? He went all the way down the street, man. He didn't even turn around. He's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. They gave me a pass. But I guess he know they don't play. He probably know, like, man, it's West Baltimore, man. I'm not finna get my shit kicked in over here. But
Right.
yeah, he, you know, I don't think, you know, when you that's why even as a man, a pastor, like, be careful how you referencing what's going on in pop culture and whatnot like that. Like, cause you know, you just popping off because that's the popular sentiment. Oh, he called it low. How you know he was calling people low value man or low value
Mhm.
woman? Like I watched it. You know, and then I seen something about Star saying he had a struggle wedding for Kevin Samuels in Oklahoma. I've seen that his family said it wasn't the GoFundMe was fake. He wasn't. He wasn't. The point is, I just think Jamal Bryant, and he has some crazy things. He done been all on in involved with different kind of women and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, you know, it's okay. You got to pass. He got to pass. They got to pass. You just don't throw rocks. What they say, people who live in glass houses, right? I thought it was funny though. I seen this other story too that we've been talking about for a long time. It's in the People's News Network. It was on CBS 58. Milwaukee metro area schools rank amongst the most segregated in the country. Um, and we've talked about this so many times on Outlaw Radio because I talk about the fact that Milwaukee public schools weren't desegregated until 1978, and Brown versus the Board of Education was passed in 1955. You know, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We didn't get open housing until 1968. So the white people here have always resisted. But the thing about MPS is when you and I attended MPS, there was a lot of white students still in MPS.
Yeah.
Uh, they got their kids up out of there. They took their kids out of white people, and they hit it from the city too. You got to understand. But they're saying nationally, America's school age population is diverse. It's they say 48% is white, 27 Hispanic, and 15% black. But in Milwaukee, is disproportionate because the majority of the school system is black kids. But you know, they're talking about the 68th anniversary of Brown versus the Board of Education. Like, do it surprise you? I don't know. Does that surprise you that our school system is like the most segregated in the country?
No, because the city is the most segregated. The communities are segregated as fuck. You know what I mean? We got a bridge that separate Mexicans and everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Man, yeah. So it don't surprise me. You know what I mean? It don't surprise me at all. It's been like that actually.
Right. Um,
It just
for a
wasn't
long time.
so segregated years ago.
Yeah, now you're really seeing the fallout behind, and now what you really seeing too is black people are taking their kids out of MPS. Like, cause a
Yeah.
lot of a lot. I always tell a story when I work for MPS. Most of the teachers that I work with, we be talking about where their kids go to school, and they'd be like, "Well, my kid go to Brookfield Central or go to some private school," and I'd be like, "What? Your kids don't go to MPS?" And they would always give me this look like, "Are you serious right now?" No, my kid don't go to
Hell
MPS.
no, my kids don't.
And I'd be like, "Why?" They were like, "Why you think?" Shit. I'm like, "But you work in MPS." Like I thought, I thought maybe that might make a difference, but they'd be like, "Hell no, my kids don't go." So maybe they should make that mandatory. If you go to MPS, if you work for MPS, your kids got to go to school in the district. You see how many see how many teachers would be leaving, right?
Right.
I was looking at this I was looking what I was actually I'm scrolling through now. I was looking for this the millions that they want to put into this suburban affordable housing complex. And this is what I say: we got to be careful with what they're doing. What they trying to do with this COVID money. Like I feel like we should have a say so in what's done with this money. And I know initially Barrett before he left, he wanted do something with the train with the money. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, fix the train. And I
Well,
always
so
thought
do
that
Cavalier.
well, yeah, because he's following up on what he's following up
Yeah.
on Barrett's thing. So, you know,
Remember he mentioned it.
but I think it says something if you are willing to help or invest in a suburb to build affordable housing. To me, that's symbolic. I don't know if other people are seeing what I'm seeing. Especially at the same time when you got this large population of white people that you're trying to inject into the north side.
Mm-hmm.
That really looks like to me like you got so I don't know that we should support this. I think we should speak out against this and say, um, No. We're not going. We shouldn't be giving the suburbs money to build affordable housing.
Right.
Once again, maybe you should hire a consultant to come in and try to create some jobs. Let me see. Joe Walker said Milwaukee is number 5 when it comes to segregated schools and city. You can Google. There's like 110. They show from 110 to number 1, and we're number 5. Wow. So when I start seeing stuff like that, it starts to make me say, yeah, I bet you do want to start packaging people up and putting them out in the suburbs. So you can, because you already jacking up the property values. Like people who own properties right now are all complaining about how their property taxes have shot up into the sky. Like it's a cold game being played in Milwaukee right now. We got to be aware. Like this is no time for us to be asleep at the wheel. And
Right.
we got to be careful when we start talking about going for real generic solutions, like blanket statement solutions and stuff like that. We got to be careful with that, man. We got to be more educated on what's going on. Like that money, that money, the people it should be complete transparency with that money. And it shouldn't be disproportionate how they use it, meaning that it'll go downtown or go to invest or in some prominent some areas that don't need it. Just first of all, just look at our streets. Our streets right now are still screwed up. Like
Right. If anything, they could fix the street.
shout out to Robert Miranda. We still got an issue with the water. Still got an issue with the lead pipe laterals. And they had said that was going to be where a lot of the money went. So, I don't know, man. We just got to get more polarized, man. We got to figure out how to keep ourselves more in the loop, man, because they're gonna put anything over our heads if we don't. Now, did you see online this shoe store? I don't know. Some young brothers own a shoe store, and it looked like the police had come up in there on a raid and like tore it apart. And
Where?
apparently they didn't find anything.
Here?
Yeah, it's a store here. I think it's here. It's a store
Where's
called
it at?
Lace. I don't know. I put it in the People's News Network.
Oh.
It might not be here. Maybe I don't know. But I seen where the police went in there and totally destroyed this store. They had like a shoe store. I brought it up because I was hoping somebody out there might know more about it than me, because they tore their store up and all of the. I guess there's some young brothers who entrepreneurs, and they was just on there saying, "Man, look, we getting shoes off so hard, we dumping so hard, they thought we was selling dope." And so they came in. The police destroyed their store. Like
That's how they do it, man. That's that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand how they could do that and then don't be at fault when they don't find shit. That's some fucking bullshit, dog.
I feel like if you don't find nothing, you should have to fix my shit.
You damn right.
I feel like, if you don't find what you was looking for, so then I could just sit back while you tearing everything up. Like, all right, go ahead, motherfucker. Yeah. I needed new shelves over there anyways. Go ahead and tear them down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And it's like you almost want to say, I hope that these young brothers wasn't doing nothing, because it's, we know a lot of youngsters, you in the game, I'm gonna try to turn this dirty money, into whatever. But none of them went. So I don't know.
Hey man, look, if they didn't find shit, they wasn't doing nothing.
There you go. There you go. Right there. I
totally
agree with you.
Now,
I gotta find out more information. I gotta find out more information about it though. I gotta find out more, because I seen it, and I thought I seen some people from Milwaukee commenting on it, like they knew where it was at. It was called Laces, and I don't know if I don't know where it's at. So I'm gonna Google it. And
I've heard of it. I think I heard about that place before.
Okay, I haven't seen one.
I'm not sure. I think I heard about it before.
I'll figure it out. I'll get some info. If you know something about that, hit me up. Let me know. Because if not, I like to talk to the brothers and be like, and have them on here. Like, did they really, like, but you got to be careful too. His brothers like, no, then they run in their house and find the shit. Like, damn, I said it wasn't at the store. What you want from me? I'm pretty sure if they ran in their store though, they probably went to their homes too though.
I don't think them brothers did shit. I think they probably just got a history of it or something. So you know what I mean? The police just on some bullshit. Or maybe one of their rat ass friends told the police they got something in there.
Yeah, you never know with that. Dre Day said he said it's off 76 in Appleton. He said they went in all their homes first. Shout out to Dre Day.
Damn.
So now if they didn't find nothing, then there should be some legal ramifications to this, as they say,
Yeah.
lawyer up. Like,
It
I
should
mean,
be something.
and listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. If these youngsters was involved in some negativity or they was doing something crazy, they was out here hustling or whatever, and they saved up enough money to say, we gonna go legit, and this is gonna be our way out, right? And so if the police would say, well, they was on our radar because we know at one point they was drug dealers. If you didn't catch them with it today, no harm, no foul.
You ain't got nothing. I
No,
could say I could tell you. I could say I sold all the dope in the world. You know
right.
what I mean? But you wouldn't know I'm lying or not. So you know what I mean? Yeah, man. With them brothers, they did. If that's what they did, they hustled, got up off their feet, and straightened their life up. That's what the fuck they was supposed to do. And if the police search their house and their businesses, they ain't got shit. Well, they ain't been doing shit. You know what I mean? Even if you was watching me years ago, like I don't think that's right for a motherfucker to be able to come back and be like, look, you did this 5 years ago. We sweat you for it now.
Right. We know how y'all used to
That's
get
some
down.
bullshit, man.
Maybe
they should have handled that a long time ago.
Or maybe I quit because y'all was so hot on my ass. I figured I had to get out, and I took the money I had. Dre Day said the police real sloppy and it's a bad investigation. Yeah, you never know, but with so many sing birds, cats be trying to get that heat up off of them. So they say, hey man, go over here. What's the name? Them got this or got that. You're like, damn, why they coming here on us? Somebody be done told on your ass. But yeah, man, shout out to them brothers, man. And once again, the reason I felt like it was even worth discussing is because the brothers was still in the store. So obviously none of them had anything or they would all been gone.
Right.
And I seen that they was like putting their store back together and they said, man, y'all can still come down. We probably need y'all to come down now more so than ever. But the sneaker game right now is a cold hustle though. If somebody get the right plug and get the right connection, you can come up with. I wish more young brothers in this city who was out here grinding could get out before really, before they caught a Fed case or before it became.
Well, that's the idea, Kev. But when you start getting that fast money, it get addicted. I remember people used to say, you know what I mean, the drug dealer was more of a fiend than the hype.
Yeah, you get addicted to the lifestyle.
You know what I mean? So you getting addicted to that next flip. You know what I mean? It's weird, man. Then you got the partying, the alcohol is involved. You smoke weed, so that's in the lifestyle. It's harder to break away from that shit.
The girls, the money,
all that, everything you want. You know what I mean? In the physical world, is right there at your fingertips. So it's hard to get away from that shit.
And you seem to be living by your own rules.
Yep.
Like I do whatever I want to do, basically. So yeah, that lifestyle is addictive. I just, like I said, I wish we could come up with a program, but I know the problem is getting brothers in it because people be like, that is the feds for sure. And I'm sure the government would actually do that. Like they would actually place somebody's, but I wish we could come up with programs where we could offer them, look, come on in here, man, and take some business classes. I ain't gonna teach you how to launder your money or nothing, but I just wish you could just walk in here and let's get these brothers off the street. We got a program strictly to go to young brothers on the street and say, come in here, man. Let's do some trade classes or some business classes. I just want to at least plant a seed in your head, man, to change up your hustle. Cause they're gonna come get your ass, right? Like people, they told on me. They got satellites in the sky. Like Google fucking Maps can point a picture of your house,
shit,
your car. Like, damn.
But what the fuck you thought they was gonna do?
Right.
They was gonna tell on you. That's what they gonna do. That's what they do. Hey man, I was just watching Gilly and Wallow, right?
Right.
And it was an episode they had with Young Thug.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've seen it or not, but anyway, Young Thug was on there, and this was before all this bullshit that he's going through right now. And Wallow had did about 20 straight in the joint.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he straight put Young Thug on game like, man, listen, brothers get out here and start rapping, and they don't understand that you can't have a foot in both. You can't be in the streets and rapping at the same time. You know what I mean? What sense do that make? And he just put him on so much game, talking about where he done been and how he done saw it. And man, listen, you could see it in dog face that, you know what I'm saying, he regret the image that he put up for himself, that he got to live up to now. And that was before all this shit. And I think it was too late anyway. Wallow telling him that, it was just ironic that he told him that. I feel like it was too late because, you know what I mean, when the feds get at you, they been watching him, they been on him. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, the feds already had their claws in it. You know what I mean? But it was just, I think it was just dope because, see, this is what OGs got to do. OGs got to talk about the dark side of the game, man. This bullshit that they're going to have to go through. Don't just glorify all the good shit. You know what I mean? Talk about the shit you done seen in the joint, nigga. That shit ain't no fun. He was telling him about how he get lonely and shit, man, and you could see it all over his face. It was damn near like he was looking at himself in the mirror and he knew he was in trouble, man. That shit was weird watching that shit.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you, Young Thug for me was one of the things that let me know hip hop was, it was done for me. Like in terms of like really keeping up with the latest, and because I used to be a straight hip hop head where, you know what I mean, like anything that was coming out, any album, all the groups, all the, you know, I never understood Young Thug. I never understood his popularity, especially when he really just like flirted with the whole gay thing. And I don't know if he's gay or not, or bisexual or what. But for
Man,
me,
listen, let me tell you something. Them niggas was on there dancing with each other.
yeah, I remember
looking each other in the eyes and shit. Like you know how they do on Wallow on their show. You know what I mean? They play the music and they all sit there and do their little dance and shit. Well, anyway, Young Thug had his whole clique in there, right? These motherfuckers taking turns coming up to him dancing, like right in his face, like right here, face to face, doing the dance, looking in each other's eyes and shit, dog. It was gay as fuck watching this shit, man. Niggas don't do this.
Right. I just remember years back when he first was getting popular, where him and his guy, like I think his guy just came home from jail or is in a hospital or something. And they was doing the thing with the cups, where you know how you with your girl we used to put the drinking out her cup, she's drinking out of yours. And I remember seeing that, and they was calling each other "bae," and like it was. And then for a minute, I was really like, "Whoa!" And then I thought, well, maybe they just playing around with it, like to try and sell records, like to try and create some press for themselves. I thought maybe it was like a game they was playing. But that's what I'm saying. By the time he really blew up, and people saying, you know, he's an icon and he's such an influence, and I'm like, what, really? Because his music, so you know, and once again, I'm an old hip hop fan. I'm an old hip hop supporter, so a lot of things haven't made sense to me. But he was one of them that let me know my ass was old and like my time was up. Because like you said, I was just like, nah, like, because I feel like that was the start of the whole skinny jean kind of.
Hey, they talked about that. They said he started that shit.
Okay.
They talked about that on the show. You got to look it up, dog. That shit was weird watching it, man, because, you know, Wallow always dropping a dime on a motherfucker. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
just
what's the young drill rapper from Chicago who was real popular that he was on there and Wallow start crying when he was telling them, like, man, y'all. Dirk?
Dirk probably, yeah. I think it was Dirk, yeah.
Or was it the other dude, the real crazy boy from down south, NBA young boy? I sound like an old ass man to the real crazy boy from down south. NBA young boy, what they call him? That boy fool. My son plays his music for me, and I'd be like, really? Like, oh shit, that's that. You like that?
Yeah, they say you wild. They say you're wild, boy.
Yeah, I've heard his music. It's pretty wild. Man, I'm gonna have a good conversation Thursday with DJ Toxic, on Outlaw Nation, and it's kind of like I've been looking for a DJ to come in and listen. You know, we're gonna talk about hip hop, really be able to spin some music and, you know, have some conversations about it, because Outlaw Nation on Thursdays is a little bit lighter than what we do here, because this is the purpose of the People's Network right here. But then I like to have fun with this microphone too, so make sure y'all tune in for that. Like I said, we got a brother Ajamu. I be saying Ajamu, and I hear everybody else say Ajamu. Ajamu Butler from Heal the Hood. He should be here Wednesday unless he reschedules. But we'll have that this week as well. Tomorrow night I had a big black sports show. Shout out to Evan Kern, who was my guest last week. Once again, man, if you're doing something positive in the community, you got a program you want to promote, you got a business, get in on the ground floor, man. Get with us right now. And let's do some business. Let's make some things happen, man. Let's write our own narrative. Let's be our own media. You need to stop depending on somebody else to give you the information you want about yourself. We should be able to depend on ourselves from that. That's kind of backwards. It's kind of like buying fried chicken from Arabs. Oh, my bad. That's what we do in our community. Hit us up, man. You got a little bit of time to call in because I want to get us out of here on time tonight. 262 202 5131 262 202 5131. Man, I was seeing now the Will Smith thing, right? Like, so I'm still hearing that he's supposedly going to he has an interview coming up, but he did this thing with Letterman before he did the slap. He has an interview with David Letterman right now. I think it's on Netflix. Do we really want to hear anything Will Smith got to say right now? I mean, once again, I'm over the slap thing. Shit happens, right? You know, well, you had a bad night. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But do it even matter at this point?
That don't matter. I don't think that situation matters, man. This is what I know, right? What I feel like. I feel like Will Smith used to say some dope shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you catch him in interviews or whatever, you catch a little clip of him coming across Facebook, he be saying some slick shit. And like, I hate how our community will take one moment and throw a motherfucker in the garbage.
Okay.
He got years, he got a whole lifetime of good shit. Wholesome shit. You know what I'm saying? And then he do this one thing and he got a wife that motherfuckers don't agree with. Now we gonna throw him away? He still got good shit to say. He's still a smart man. He still got game for us to get to another level. I think we still can learn from him, man. We just take these situations, we take what people going through too far or to heart too much. You know what I mean? I always say get the message, fuck the messenger.
Yeah. It's interesting. That's interesting that you said that because I don't believe in cancel culture, right?
Right. And that's exactly what just happened. What people doing at least.
Well, yeah, we participating in the bullshit now against our own. I feel like this. If it's something like what R. Kelly did with young girls, or people have really been hurt or harmed by what you've done, I feel like then we say, well, yeah, we're not going to support anything you do anymore. We done with you. We done dealing with you.
Right.
But this is a situation between two men. It just so happened to play out, because it's Hollywood. And this is a situation that a brother, like you said, who's done a lot of things positive in the community. This is a situation that he's been forced to deal with.
And upheld a good image, a dope image.
For a long time.
For a long time, man. He ain't did nothing wrong but smack a motherfucker. How many of us done smacked a motherfucker?
I mean, we just had that conversation on the show where I was saying sometimes
That's what I say. I think we take shit to heart too much, man. We need to ease the fuck up.
Or why don't we just, be willing to forgive people when they say, man, I was tripping, man. I made a mistake. All right, Will, you good? Instead of supporting all of the because you hearing, he lost this movie, lost that movie. They don't want him at the Oscars. They don't want all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, okay, y'all done went a little bit too far now. Like, I mean, okay. The man done lost some money. He got a stain on his career. Finally, that's what y'all wanted anyways. At what point do we welcome Will back? Like, do we need to just come out and do an interview and keep it a buck and say, because I don't want him to come back with no philosophical, lightweight bullshit. I want him to come back and keep it a buck. Like, man, I
don't think he owe nobody nothing.
Well, if he want us to go see his movies or support his projects, I think you got to say something. You can't just slap.
That's the problem with society, man. You know what I mean? Everybody want to know what's going on with another motherfucker. And that's how we got in this position anyway.
Okay, you slap somebody at the Oscars.
Hey, shit, motherfuckers done slap people at other, you know what I mean, at less extravagant and even more extravagant places too, probably. I mean,
niggas get slapped.
Tupac tried to run up on a motherfucker at the BET Awards. That was our Grammys back then.
The Source Awards.
The Source Awards, yeah, that was our Grammys back then. You know what I'm saying?
Motherfuckers get slapped every day, B.
Hey, Kanye ran and snatched the mic from Taylor Swift and
Right.
said this wasn't the best video of the year.
Yeah.
Beyonce's was.
He didn't slap her though.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers do wild shit all the time.
Yeah, man. People, yeah. We all, we all get, we all got issues. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm just saying I think there has to be at some point we gotta say, all right, Will, we get it. But I think in order
Yeah,
to
we
get there, I
do.
feel like Will has to come back and say, all right, y'all, check this out. All right, I was tripping, right? Like that ain't the way we want, because to be the example that he's always been, to me, it would require him to come back and say, y'all, to young brothers, hey man, look, this is what happens. I don't condone what I did. I don't condone what I did, but I did it and I gotta live with it.
Now I could dig that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like I thought you was talking about like coming on and explaining why I did it.
No, if
That's
he
what I meant by like I don't know nobody's shit, no explanation for shit.
if he wanted to go into that and be kind of like, well, no, this is what I've been dealing with, then that's all bonus.
Right.
That's all bonus. I just feel like at least he should come back and say, y'all know what? Yeah, y'all wasn't tripping. I was tripping. I was on some other shit. But I think he needs to obviously make some changes to something in his life. I'm not saying divorce your wife or nothing like that. I'm saying obviously you need to make some changes. So but I like I say, we can't hold it against him for like the man should never be able to make another movie. And I feel like that's why all those white actors was, I was traumatized. I
Right.
can't, so bad.
They're going too far with that shit.
Right. He didn't even knock him down, right? I done seen cats get hit harder than that, right? Like with foreign objects.
Definitely.
Right. What you got going this week, man?
This week, like I said, I'm going out of town, man. I'm going out of town. I'm going to Vegas this week. Go celebrate my relationship and vitality all at the same damn time. I'm gonna get high as a motherfucker out there. Hitting the first stop is just the dispensary. The second stop is the Modern Vegan, the restaurant. I already got the first is planned out, right?
You said you're going to Vegas?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you was there last. Yeah, you was there last time. I remember you was there last time, and you was you got what did you do? You got geeked and had the wrong time for the show.
Oh yeah, man. The time zone was fucked. I was fucked up with the time zone.
He's like, man, I thought the show. I'm like, oh man, bro, you on
Hey,
the way.
but luckily this time I'm going and coming back before we come back on air.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Wednesday I'll be here and I'll be back before Monday.
But also we don't do a Saturday show anymore. So that's when we used to do a Saturday show, and it was kind
right.
of
Right.
So we don't do Monday through Thursday. Now we get in, we get out, man. I want y'all to shout out to Dre Day. He said where we were talking about earlier, he was like, it sounds like his lifestyle, he's a business owner. It's the same as hustling. It is hustling, man. It's hustling to the nth degree. Y'all hit me up, man. Y'all hit me up if y'all want to do some business and promote some stuff on the network. Trying to make some moves, man, and improve what we do. So in order to do that, nothing's free in this world, and neither is this. So hit us up, man. Hit the Cash App. Cash App run across the bottom. $KB7524. Or just buy a sponsorship or something. You ain't even don't. I tell you what, hit the Cash App and I'll give you a sponsorship. Right? Maybe like that. Right? Same thing. Whatever amount you put in, put $5 in there and send me your material and I promote it. Right. So that's what I'm saying. I think that's how we got to start promoting it. Like, okay, just hit the Cash App and then we'll put together something for you once you hit the Cash App.
Right.
Yeah, I think I like that. We'll put that on. Start getting some merchandising and stuff out to the people. I appreciate what y'all do in terms of supporting us, right? But yeah, man, keep in mind, man, we got to support each other. That's the only way out of this. And this ain't no time for us to be at each other's throats, man. This is a time for us to really be serious about getting together, trying to hear each other out, because the problems are becoming so great, right? And so you got a set of serious issues, and you got a bunch of people that just sit on the sideline because they feel like nothing can be done or nothing will be done. So you got some inactives, and then you just got the people who wanted to get better. And then you got the people who just like, I'm leaving anyways. That's why I say all the time, like, it's okay if you want to leave Milwaukee, because I can understand how you would be like, the city is horrible. I totally understand that. Totally get it. But my thing is, if you don't plan to be here and what you're saying is, I'm leaving anyways, I don't care, so I don't give a fuck what happens, and I'm not going to try to do anything, and I want you to leave sooner than later. Get out the way, man. Get out the way for us who going to be here, right? Like, as you taking up space, move around. That's all I'm saying, and I mean that in a nice way. Like, can you tell somebody nicely to get the fuck out? Like, I don't know. I don't know if we say that. I'm trying to. We'll see how it goes. But at the end of the day, man, you're either part of the problem, you're part of the solution, man. We're the only ones who are going to be able to straighten up our community. Nobody's going to come do it for us. It ain't no magic wand. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of sweat. And that's how you build up equity, man. And that's what we got to invest in, man. So just know that. So if you got a great idea in your head, imagine how great it would be if you was unified with other people who had great ideas. Y'all would be a powerful force, man. Y'all would be pretty unstoppable, right? And that's where we got to get to. We got to get out of the defeated mentality, man. Chantel Gwen said thank you to everyone who came out to her drive at the Silver Spring Neighborhood Center hosted by Versity Blood Center. Said they were able to help 27 people. That's what's up, man. That is what's up. I still got to. I know Ajamu is coming on the show, so I still intend on reaching out to him before he comes on to see if we can get Chantel Gwen a table down there at the Heal the Hood Festival. Hopefully we can. If not, then we make sure that in the future, whatever events that are coming up, we reach out early and try to see if she can get a seat so she can provide information for the people, man. But anyways, man, like I said, thank you, man, for tuning in. Share the show, hit like, hit follow. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe. It sucks. Our numbers suck, right? It looks bad for the city, but I'm working. I'm working to try to build it up. But go and subscribe, man. Share the show in as many groups as possible. Shout out to people who do. I see it all the time. Like, oh shit, somebody shared our show, and things have been looking a lot better lately because of that. So we appreciate the support, man. And we just got to know, like I said, man, it's gonna take all of us to do this. But if we get to the point where you're trying to figure out where you stand on things, then you just got to ask yourself whether or not your criticism of the Black community outweighs your contribution. If it does, then I would reason that you're probably a coon. I'll see y'all tomorrow night for the Big Black Sports Show, man. Peace and love, man.
Hey.